If you don't like something because you don't understand it, you may be missing out on something you might enjoy. For me, that thing was football. When I was a kid, I would hate when my dad would watch football because I did not understand it at all. Now it's one of my favorite things to watch because I really got into it and I understand what's going on. Today I will inform you of basic to intermediate football knowledge. We will discuss the offensive positions, what they do, defensive positions, what they do, and the speeds and sizes of different positions. First off, we will discuss the offense. We'll start with the offensive line and what they do. Their job is to block for the quarterback and block for the running back as well. They line up right here. The fullback is like an extra lineman in the backfield. He blocks for the running back and occasionally goes out for passes, and he can also run the ball. He sometimes lines up right here. The halfback will carry the ball way more than the fullback, and he can sometimes block for the QB, and he also goes out to catch passes. He lines up right here. The tight end is a hybrid player who has to be good at blocking and also at catching passes. He lines up right here next to the offensive line. The wide receivers catch most of the passes from the QB, so they have to have good hands. They line up on the outside right here. The QB, however, leads the entire offense, so typically he's the smartest player on the field. He makes most of the decisions and calls most of the plays. He lines up right here behind the center. Now we're going to talk about the defensive positions. First off is defensive end. Their job is to contain the running back and QB from going outside, and they also rush the quarterback when he attempts a pass. They line up on the outside of the defensive line. Defensive tackles' jobs are to stuff the run and occasionally rush the QB on a pass. They line up on the inside of the defensive ends right there. Linebackers' job is to tackle the running backs, and occasionally they can drop into coverage or they can blitz into the backfield. They're called linebackers because they back the D line and they line up behind them. The cornerback is mainly on the field to cover wide receivers and force the QB to throw the ball away. They also can force a running back from going outside. That's part of their job. Safety is known as the last line of defense, and they also go into deep coverage to help the cornerbacks when the quarterback drops back to pass. Now we'll move on to the speeds and sizes of the different positions. Offensive line tends to be the biggest players on the field. They usually weigh more than 300 pounds, are very strong, and most of the time they're slow. The running backs usually weigh over 200 pounds and can range in speed. Some are really fast and some are more power backs, so they're slower. Tight ends are both big and fast. They have to be strong as the linemen and have good as hands as the wide receivers. Receivers are most of the time the smallest players on the field, and they have to be the fastest players on offense. Quarterbacks are mostly tall, but sometimes they can be short, and their speed can vary greatly. Defensive line are usually the biggest players on defense. They're very strong, and their speed can vary. Some are very fast and some are very slow. Linebackers are bigger than the corners and safeties, and they have an average speed. Safeties and corners are very similar in size. They're usually the fastest players on the defense. And safeties are most of the time bigger than the corners, but they can be flip-flopped. Overall, football is pretty easy to understand when you can grasp the basics, and this will help you know a little bit about football when someone around you is talking about it. You may also be able to impress your friends or family with this information. I hope the knowledge you learned today will help you enjoy football more than you did before.